Ladies and gentlemen, the co-founder of one of the largest Web3 gaming titles out there has just challenged me to a 1v1. It's the first time that a founder has actually had the courage to go ahead and accept a 1v1. This is none other than Star Atlas. So we're going to be touching base on a lot of news today, but of course, as always, we do that Gala news. If you enjoy the kind of content that we bring, feel free to go ahead, like and subscribe, and let's bring it in because I'm going to show you my beast run that I just did on Star Atlas. What we're going to end up doing is a race. And I feel like, a thing that I've noticed about the Gala Games community and just communities in Web3 gaming is that they're very receptive to multiple games. I don't really see ecosystems that only bet on themselves. It's kind of like, at this point, everybody has to kind of bet on everyone. Because the Web3 gaming space as a whole, if one game ends up succeeding, then I wholesomely think that every game will go ahead and succeed. It's the first time I've actually picked up Star Atlas. And something I've got to say is the game's a lot harder than I expected it to be. To control this thing is really hard, okay? It took me like 1 to 2 hours to actually figure out how to make this a reality. But I've got to wish Wagner luck. I don't know if he's going to end up beating me, but at least he picked up the challenge, which you've got to respect that at the end of the day. In other news, we've got Champions Arena, which has just hit over 100,000 downloads. 100,000, that's a big number. 100,000 downloads. The team has said that they're just warming up. Okay, this was big news that we'd received earlier. And why I wanted to talk about this is to kind of invite conversation here in regards to downloads and these metrics that we're using to kind of gauge whether or not the space is doing well. Something we did actually recently see is this right here. This is the game of the day here from NFL Rivals. This is a football game in Web3, and this game was actually featured on iOS, on the actual App Store. It was the game of the day, which I think is really interesting because as you can see here, there really seems to be no real irkings of, okay, this is an NFT game. It's just a football game. We can collect, manage, and compete. The technology is nice and enables things, but at the end of the day, people are there just for the games themselves. And here's another conversation. When it comes to Gala, a lot of the games, a majority of the user base, understandably so, they are, ROI boys, as Benefactor doesn't like to put it, because of the fact that they've got this expectation, because most of them are from the bull market, where they have to profit on every single game that they play. And I think Champions Arena is going to be a big wake-up call. I think just because you're giving 15% player revenue doesn't mean that everybody playing should expect a bunch of profit and make a ton of money. But guess what? At the end of the day, if I could play Lords Mobile and just go ahead and actually get something out of it, I think I would definitely do it. If I had the opportunity to get something out of all my effort, I would do it. That'd be great. But to spend more money to then expect more money, it just doesn't really work that way. And I think a lot of people are going to learn that. Champions Arena is a game that is very into the turn-based strategy genre. It does a lot of the traditional metrics in terms of arena, etc. And it's a very grindy game. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be a very interesting test for the Gala community, but I am looking forward to it because guess what? Our estate is doing real well. We actually recently hit level 10 castle. That's the highest level castle in the game. We're going to be the first estate in the entire game to hit level 10 altar. So once we hit level 10 altar, you're going to have the best odds. Not only are you going to have the cheapest odds, but you're going to have the best odds in the game to pick up some of the best epics in the game, which I think is awesome. I think it's awesome to provide this to the community. We've absolutely been killing it. I mean, there's over 200 people spread out amongst all of the Hydra Estate, which I think is super cool. And something I don't think people are really waking up on is the fact that, yeah, these guilds are growing and they're doing pretty damn well. In other news, I wanted to talk about this from Beanie Maxi. He's one of the people that were very, very large in the NFT space back in 2021. He had his little beanie tokens and all that stuff. But here it is. Tell me you know nothing about Web3 gaming without telling me. Look at this. The dirty little secret of gaming NFTs that nobody likes to talk about is that you can build the best Web3 game we've ever seen, but you're building it for maybe a few hundred or at best a couple thousand hobbyists. Gamers hate NFTs, DJs don't care about playability, and just want to stack. And this is funny because as we see more and more Web3 gaming studios kind of ignoring that narrative and building out what they're doing, it's just totally against that ethos. Yes, a lot of people entered the Web3 gaming space initially for profits. That there's no denying it. When there's a bull market, a ton of people come for speculative reasons. But now we're kind of seeing that a lot of Web2 gamers are beginning to onboard these games, and DAU numbers are looking on the uptrend. I mean, we're seeing it with Champions Arena. We're seeing it with NFL Rivals. We're seeing it with many different Web3 games that are beginning to hound on that marketing trend. Even Cross the Ages was at one point #1 on the French App Store, which is incredible. I mean, that's a lot of people, millions upon millions of people, and they were the #1 game on there. Don't forget that mobile gaming by far is the largest industry in gaming. So to see Web3 gaming kind of get that exposure there is best case scenario. I mean, it couldn't be better. So I think this Beanie take is a little bit inaccurate. This is kind of like a 2021 take of, okay, we have 10,000 NFTs and you need an NFT to play, and that's all you'll ever be able to get. But I think we're at this point where you don't need an NFT to play. You could just play, and then NFTs are secondary. It should be an additive. NFTs, Web3, all that stuff should be an additive on top of an experience that is already traditional. So that's kind of my take on that. And the last thing I actually wanted to go ahead and show is Gala Last Expedition leaks. I think these Last Expedition leaks look absolutely awesome. I mean, it's sick. It just looks sick, okay? So let me know your thoughts in the comment section. This is Classy Games. A little sick today, but we still bring in the news. Until next time, stay classy, and that's all.